So please welcome Peter D to the show. Welcome, Peter.
Hey, Ashley, I'm so happy to be invited and I'm excited what we're going to explore today.
Oh, you and me both. I have been, it's probably 2 months ago that I discovered you in November when you were on Alex's Next Level Soul. I find a lot of people on that show that I go down their rabbit hole and send it to every friend on the planet. They get so sick of me sending. They're like, I found another one, and you were that.
Well, thank
So
you. I'm
everybody
honored.
says hi to tell Peter hi. That's you're there. So, but what it's like I always know that the teacher appears when the student is ready, and I've been on this awakening journey, and this is in the 200th episode of this podcast, and I can see my evolution, my growth as it continues every year and every month, really. And
Beautiful.
it's really sped up in the last 2 years. And this podcast has created a tribe of people, of like-minded, beautiful souls that I know are my soul family. And I know that was part of the calling that called me to this podcast. Was I didn't know at the time why something, my higher self, my God, whatever you want to call it, was saying, Ashley, start a podcast. And now I look back and think, thank God I did. And I listen to
Right,
that voice,
right. They
because
never
now,
tell you in advance what's happening. They just tell
no.
you this direction. And then if you follow, it's like treasure.
And I did. And I think if that's the biggest message, and I even always tell my daughters, like, when something's telling you to do it, just do it. Like, you never know. And
Yep.
I'm now living in this treasure moment. But when I find someone like you, Peter, and it resonates with my soul to the core, and I mean that.
Well,
And
thank
then
you.
I'm getting ready to, and then before we hit record, everybody, I had tears in my eyes when he came on. That's where he's touched me. So, so then I get ready for our interview, and it's a week long I've listened to every single YouTube video you've put out there, any
Wow.
podcast that you've been on. I've gone through your entire website. I've listened to those videos. So a few days ago, I listened to the clearing one, and I'm giving this backstory just so you can understand the
Cool.
effect that you've had on me.
Wow.
So I did the clearing, and it was so huge to me, monumental, that I went through the day and I started realizing, like, wow, think of the blocks that I've had and held on to that have held me back from living this pure awakened life, right? And I'm thinking, before I met Peter, I was pretty on my awakened journey. Well, and then I think, gosh, I know the higher self, I know, my intuition. But after did the video that I've sent to every single person that I know, uh, I went to bed. And you know how you say, start talking to spirit, like when you go to the
Yeah.
refrigerator, what are you
Yeah.
going to, what should I eat today? So I started doing that after that. So then I went to bed, and I'm a big numbers person, angel numbers. It's constant. It's been 1, 2, 3, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4. And that night it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4, 3, 3, 3. And it was
Wow.
every time but I woke up different, because I would wake up and I would say, okay, speak to me. What spirit, talk to me, higher self. And I started to get communication for the first time.
Yeah. Cool, cool, cool.
Yes, I did. And then I would wake up again and I do it again. And then I thought, oh my gosh, this is what Peter was talking about. And I have goosebumps, but it was like a magic moment. I was like, oh my gosh, it works. It worked.
Yeah.
So anyway,
So
that's kind of
you
where
don't
I'm
know how
living right
much
now.
my heart is singing to hear you tell your story. Because I was under direction from spirit. Of course, it's by choice. I'm happy and thrilled to do this, but I'm under direction to take things that are happening and make them simple
Yes.
so that people can then just really accelerate their ascension. Because spirit was telling me, hey, look, if it just goes on, haphazardly, it's going to be 400 years before the planet shifts. But we
Right.
can cut that down to 40,
Yeah.
do it in our lifetimes. If enough of us will do the work to clear out what's blocking us. That's the big thing. Clear, clear, clear. You hear that in my videos every time.
Right.
And then it's just really simple steps we can take and practical steps. And then, boom, all of a sudden, you're not just interviewing a channeler, you are a channeler.
Right. Oh, and gosh. And I've been connected with these beautiful people that listen to my show, and there's something that they connect with me, and that, they're like, I don't know what it is, but I'm really connected. And now they're coming into their magic, and they're, it's like this, it's really growing, Peter. And I realized after knowing your mission and understanding, I really would like to explain your passion and why. I just learned about your childhood, and it's like, whoa, is why
Didn't see that one coming.
I didn't see that one coming. But, it's like when you find that, when I see your passion and what you do and your service to this planet and these human beings that have decided to come down right now and do this right now, and this, what we're going through in this process of ascending. I mean,
Right.
like transferring from the three-dimensional human density to the five. You talk about that a lot, but could you kind of go like what your passion and why you have it so in your heart, and you're so authentic and you're real and people can relate, and you're just a giver.
Well, thank you. Thank you for that high praise. Before I do, Spirit's nudging me. Those of you who are listening, I'm in 24/7 contact. I don't have to do anything special. It's just you do your opening and there you are. And if you choose to receive and interact, you do. So they're nudging me to just comment on a couple of things you said before I answer your question. And the first one is how important what you're doing is. And they're really blessing you for that. When you said you helped create and find tribe, that's such a thing that all of us need to do. And you're doing that. You're helping people connect who relate to your energies and each other. And you need that now because all the old rules are breaking down. What we call countries, what we call ethnic groups, what we call religions, what we call political parties, all that's going to break down. And you need to find your tribe so you have a place to stand and interact with people. You'll basically bootstrap each other up, and that's super important. And you're doing that. And they want to compliment you. The other thing is, you said, well, you've been on your path, and you said it's getting faster these last 2 years. Now, a lot of people think that it's getting faster because they're doing more work, which is true, and you are. But the whole energies of the planet, the whole energies of the solar system, right? Yes, go look at the temperatures, go look up NASA temperatures on other planets. Global warming is not just on Earth. So the whole solar system is passing through a place in space that is increasing the energy flow to our planet. And this is the time of ascension. This is the time of uplift for everybody. So that's why things are moving faster for you. And then the more open you are and apply yourself, then it moves even faster. And what happens is you end up creating a bubble of heaven. You become a literal sphere, bubble of heaven, which affects people around you. And the more of us that are bubbles of heaven, the quicker it's going to be. And when there's enough bubbles of heaven out there, the whole planet just pops all at once. And so I'm just complimenting you on what you're doing and wanted to comment on that. Now, to get to your question about passion, come on, this is me. This is what you get. You know, one of my teachers, I loved him, Sri Bhagavan said, they asked that question, the meaning of life question, what's the purpose of life? And he says, life is for living.
Right.
And it's like, okay, so if you're going to live your life, you may as well be happy, right? So
Yeah.
what's going to create happiness in your life and joy in your life? And if you've been watching my videos, you can check out my YouTube channel, Becoming Awesome, please. If you've been watching my videos, you see that the more you move your densities, the blockages, the unreleased emotions, the childhood past stuff, all that stuff that's in your unconscious, the more you release that, the more energy flows through you. And I've been taught that anything fully expressed turns to bliss. So if you can go back and find all those places where you're tight and tense and curmudgeon-y, because I can be certainly curmudgeon-y. People who know me know, okay, Peter, you're back to that now. And I'm like, yeah, I forget sometimes. But you move that stuff and you clear it, and then boom, you're naturally in bliss. causeless joy. So many people work hard or go on the great vacation or do this or that to get to those moments of joy. But what if you live in causeless joy?
Right.
And once you do that, then that's life. That's it. That's purpose. People, I see clients a lot. And by the way, you can check out my website. And both my wife and I, Tracy, offer sessions on a donation basis. So
Right.
it's not even like money's not an obstacle. We know that we're taken care of by source. And if you want to be one of those people, take care of us, you'll drop a donation or
Right.
not. It's all good. And problem is, there's a backlog of 3 or 4 months. So get on the
I
waiting
know.
list, and we'll
I'm
let you
on
know
it.
every time we open up sessions. And
I'm on it.
I'm working to train so many people so that we can have a whole
Oh,
network of people doing this. That's coming within the next year. But
okay.
anyway, uh, you learn to clear this stuff. And when you do, you're suddenly in causeless joy. Now, so many people sit there and say, well, what's my purpose in life? Ashley, what am I supposed to do? And it's hilarious because except for one rare instance, Spirit has never answered that question when I tap into their higher self and channel an answer for it. Because Spirit always says, if I tell you what to do, you'll just do it. And then if you do it, you'll be a child listening to your parents up in the
Right.
sky, right? Instead of claiming your own life and living it for what choices you want to make. So they never tell you what your purpose is. But I tell them afterwards, you know, you came here to clear out yourself because of the energies are changing. And you knew that in this lifetime, you could do it all. You
Hmm.
can stop the reincarnation cycle, get to that place in one lifetime. And once you do, then you affect people around you. It starts having an effect on them without you even trying. And that is your purpose, to be the best, most beautiful, happy self you can be, and then everyone else comes around you. It's
Hmm.
been freaking me out because, I always grew up thinking there's all these special people. They got abilities, they channel. And I never could see myself doing it, right? And I, like many of us, I plowed away. I took my classes. I did this, I did that. And then all of a sudden it popped. I got awakening, and then I got connected to spirit, and then I just knew I could just do this, right? And so now I don't strive and seek anymore. And now all these weird ass special abilities that I used to attribute to other people are happening to me. Now,
Right.
my ego self is like, yeah, look at me. I can do this. Right. But I know it's just me getting out of the way and spirit coming through. And spirit knows that I have a big ego and like to take credit for it. So it says, go ahead, take all the credit you want. It's fine. Just keep doing what you're doing so people can feel it. But anyway, recently in sessions I've been having, people will just get on the Zoom call and then just burst into tears. And that will go on for 30 minutes or 40 minutes or
Oh,
something.
wow.
And then we'll do a little replacement, give them some connection to their source. They can replace everything they just released, and they're on their way. And this is happening now because they're in my field. Now, it's not like me, Peter, that's generating this field. It's me, Peter, getting out of the way so source can generate the field. And then it affects people. And that's my purpose. And I did nothing except initiate the Zoom call.
Right.
And then just last week was the second time. So when it happens the third time, I'm going to put it up on the list. Okay, this is a thing. It's happening now. But
That they just
just,
cry the whole time.
yeah, well, that happens a lot. That happens a
Okay.
lot. But what happened just last week is uh, people said, do you know there's lights flying around behind your head during this session? I'm like, yeah. No, seriously, there are. Go back and look at the video. And then they like, well, because we record these and I send them the recording, they'll show me the numbers. I'm like, yep, there was stuff there. Now I have no idea what it is or how to control it or do any of that. That's unimportant. Phenomena is coming through me because I'm getting out of the way. And each of us are expressing the phenomena, whether it's channeling music, people who do light language, people who do light music, people who can start to do all these abilities, and it's coming to all of us. But
Right.
I'm starting to notice it. You obviously are understanding the impact you're having. So keep your eye open for phenomenon. And this is going to be all of us soon. This is where we're headed. It's so cool. I mean, what a ride to be on.
Right. Oh, but to explain to people when you had that awakening and you were, I mean, I just went through your childhood and how your parents and even your the baskets for the rebirth,
Mm-hmm.
the 4 baskets, that was fascinating. I was pulled out with forceps too, like you.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
So I was like, yeah, that was me. I was like pulling, but that whole explanation, because you go so deeply to that place of people's birth on what, I mean, even having the murderers not being held, people that tend to be murderers aren't held after birth.
Yeah, it's the imprinting is so
Yeah, imprinting.
profound. So there's a couple of things to understand here, Ashley. One of them is karma, primary, secondary, tertiary. And I think there might be a quad one too, because I started recently experiencing and clearing events from after the time my soul, consciousness, whatever you want to call it, became a fractal and separated from source. And so there's even karma from back then, I'm finding. But
Oh,
anyway,
wow.
let's just
Okay.
stick to the traditional karmas. Uh,
Okay.
this lifetime,
Hmm.
birth from conception to about 6 hours after, and then all your past lives. And people can wrap their heads around that stuff. And if you clear one, you clear them all. So that's kind of cool. So that's
Oh,
why
that is cool.
sometimes the four birth process, the four baskets rebirth process is on my website. Free tools. Come and get
I
them.
just did it.
Okay. Becomingawesome.one.one. Yes, shameless self-promotion. You
No,
said, why am I authentic? This is why I have no problem claiming my desire for significance. Everybody has it. I just let you know I have it.
yep, I love it.
Okay. So
And everybody needs the you. So I with you. I'm all
yeah.
in.
Yeah, everybody
Yes.
should be claiming their significance. We're a planet of God source beings. We should be looking at each and every one of us, including in the mirror, like, whoa, I'm looking at God now. Holy cow. Like you, Ashley, God.
Right.
Okay. All right. So if you clear your karma in any of those three realms, this lifetime, birth, past lives, you clear them in all. You just have to go all the way through. So that's why when I do processes, a lot of what I do is life review with people, which is going to be the fundamental topic, the prime topic of my second book, which I'm going to be writing in April and releasing in late May, early June. Look for that.
Oh,
Uh,
wow. Okay.
Becoming awesome, or actually it's my Ascension Handbook level 2. Level 1 is how to connect with your sacred higher self. And you, from doing your video intensive, have started connecting to your sacred higher self. Hoorah.
I
Okay, so now I want
know.
to go to the next
Gosh.
part, clear out karma, right? So
Yep.
everybody's in this place. So the whole point is in this life review, we look at this lifetime and clear stuff out. Or you can do the rebirth process, which there's a video guiding you on my website, or you can do clearing past lives. Doesn't matter. You get one, you get them all. You just have to do it thoroughly. And the clearing past lives, I just cut a video on my YouTube channel guiding you through that if you want. So that's what's kind of cool is understanding. Now, what people don't understand about uh, density, and I kind of want to explain it just a little bit, if I may. So, as I understand it, we're God's eyes and ears. So we become a fractal of the divine, and we're sent out with one, free will, total choice to do whatever we want. So no right
Hmm.
or wrong or scriptures or good or bad, none of
Right.
that. And then two, we kind of have a little memory wipe of what it's like to be connected to source. So we don't have any background of what it's supposed to be. We don't have any scripture of what it should be. So we can do whatever we want. Now, just on our planet, there's many other planets doing this, but just on our planet, there's 8 billion people making choices right and left. So that's 8 million outcomes to 8 million of, or excuse me, billion
Billion.
events every single moment. So
Right.
you have these experiences. If you have an experience and you fully complete it, one, it turns to bliss, and two, you gain wisdom, the emotional intelligence, the wisdom, you certain knowledge of what it's like with that experience. Don't get in your mind and try to draw a lesson from it. That's not the wisdom I'm talking about. Okay. And when you have that wisdom, you're then automatically open and connected to source because there's no blockage. You completed the experience. Source then gets that wisdom. Source grows. We're the eyes and ears of the divine as it has all these beautiful permutations of experience of humanity doing what it's doing, and it grows and grows and grows. So it's kind of cool. We're little God bots on the cutting edge doing exploration. All right. Now, if you don't complete an experience, then you get this density. And that density gets locked in your body somewhere. You can feel it. We have words like pain in the neck or, butterflies in my stomach. Those are understandings of how energy gets trapped.
Hmm.
Now, trapped energy does several things. One is if it's not released in a timely manner, it's going to express in your body as old age or disease. Okay. And we can keep these bodies running as long as we want if we were as clear as we wanted, and then we would just come and go into carnation physically as we chose. But we kind of forgot how to do that because we kind of stay dense, right? So we have a lot of old age and a lot of disease. Okay. The second thing is it has a magnetic resonance, an experience that is not completed has a magnetic resonance that attracts new experience to it. And if that experience, it's there to break it loose. God doesn't want to punish you. God's beneficent, you know, right. Divine wants to love you up, right? So he doesn't want you to stay stuck your entire existence. So the system's designed to bring new experience to you. And that new experience will then try to break it loose. Now, the problem is if you didn't have the wherewithal to complete your emotional experience the first time, you may not have it the second time. So instead of the experience breaking loose, it gets layered on top of each other. And it gets denser and denser and harder and harder. And you see some people express it, and we laugh at them when they express it this way, but some people will express it as, this is my fourth divorce. Or why is it that I'm always broke? Okay, or something like that comes into play. And so it's just literally the pattern trying to break loose. So when I work with people and I do life reviews, we go all the way back and we find the causal points. And sometimes it's just something simple. Sometimes you're a 3-year-old kid and you see your mom and you run up to get a hug, and mom's got an armload full of groceries and she can't really set them down, so she doesn't really hug you. But in our 3-year-old mind, we think, oh, mom doesn't love me. I'm not lovable. And then it becomes an unconscious imprint that runs your entire life, bringing more experience to you. And then you wonder why you don't get in good relationships and stuff like that. And you go back and it could be that simple. Now, some of us, like me, we got sexually tortured and abused as infants and stuff like that. But I'm just showing you that and telling you that to say it doesn't matter the extremity of what you went through. It all can be cleared. Sometimes it's just easy peasy, lovey-dovey stuff, but it still gives you the same consequence of traps you in that rut. And then we call that rut personality or karma. And those are all correct, but really you just go back, find what the cause is, complete the experience, which can be done quite quickly. And then you have a new level of freedom. You're back in that bubble of heaven. You're back in that place where you complete the experience and you're in bliss.
Right. When you say we attract, so let's say my mom didn't hug me and that happened to me, and we did our past. When you say the system brings it back to you and it's going to keep bringing it to you until more of those experiences, until you can figure out to unblock that.
Right.
Memory.
Well, it's more than just figure it out. It's complete the experience, release the emotion that has been trapped. So that means you bring that experience back to you. Let's say you bring it back to you in high school and you're on a date and you're wondering why the person you're dating is just being cold and icy, right? So you haven't, of course, you don't know about this because we don't teach it, right? Because the controllers of our system want to keep us down and don't teach any of this stuff. But in high school, a normal way of interpreting it is, oh, what's wrong with her? What's wrong with me? Why is it not there? Another way to interpret is, unconscious mind, show me where I felt this before, because I obviously felt this before to get this attraction of this event now. The mirror principle, everything that happens to you is reflecting what's in your consciousness.
Yes.
So unconscious mind, show me. And then when you're clear enough, you'll just go right back to that early memory. Oh, mom. And then instead of taking it out on your date, you take it out on your mom. You don't like do anything to her, but you have to feel it with the intensity it was blocked with. So you spend a few minutes crying or yelling or shouting or just doing whatever that you didn't get it when you were 3, and you finish the experience and you turn to bliss. Moms know this across the planet. Their kid fall down, get hurt, cry their ass off for 5 minutes, then stand up and run around and play like nothing happened. It's the exact same thing, except many of us throughout our life did not have the wherewithal to cry it out or to express the anger in the moment or to express even joy or whatever in the moment, the fear to shake and go, oh, scary, and complete it. And then be an open vessel to allow new experience and new joy.
Right. But you need to feel that feeling. You have to go through that to clear it. You have to really feel that.
Uh, Kinda. I've know people who are pretty far along in their advancement, in their ascension, and their awakening, and they can just simply put their mental attention on it and observe it. And
Okay.
simply in the act of observing, it can clear. I've not found hardly anybody who can do that until they've got a certain level of clearing in place. So for the most part, yes, you need physical release, uh, sound and movement. You need enough sound and movement equal to the intensity that it was happening with the original blockage. Okay. And it doesn't have to be long, it could be just a few seconds, can be 30 seconds a minute, but you
Hmm.
need it with that. Then it breaks loose. Now, in our society, a lot of people forget the second part of this. Oh, I'm done with that. I'm clear now. But you got this mind and it's been running down the track your whole life. And
Right.
it wants to keep you down that track because it's your mind. Actually,
Right.
mind is not yours, but that's a whole nother topic. Okay. So so your mind is going to sit there and tell you, oh, this clearing, well, that was something, but let's doubt it. Let's look at all the different ways it doesn't work. It's going to give you every opportunity to go back in that rut. So there's two things you need to do. The first thing is anytime you remove something, you replace it.
Right.
Okay. So you immediately connect to source or your divine, your angels, your divine mother, whatever you call it. You connect to it and say, reprogram me right now, please. and,
Yep.
and I use the visualization of a column of golden light coming down. Oh, I'm feeling a tingle on my forehead
Hmm.
right now because I've used this so much and I've had it happen. Column of golden light coming down from the central sun through the top of your head into your heart so that when you breathe it in, it lights up. And then you feel it come to you, and then you light up your heart. And when you exhale, it goes to your whole body. And then you direct it where you felt those blockages. Remember, density is held in certain places in the body. You direct it there. Then you permission it. Hey, divine, give me the good stuff, auspicious qualities. I usually don't ask for specific things because whatever I ask for is always less than the divine wants to give me. So
Hmm.
I just say, give
Right.
me the good stuff, reprogram this now. I want things that make me closer to you and give me more joy. You know what it is. You know my unconscious. Do the reprogramming. So you spend the time clearing, then you kind of allow it and permission it. I use the visualization because that's a way of allowing and permissioning. Right.
Hmm.
And then you just sit back until your heart's nice and full.
Right.
Then you got it. Then, of course, you got to do the mental work afterwards of, at the point of doubt when it comes up, you have to choose, am I my mind or am I my consciousness? And then you
Right.
just continually choose to go to the new place until it's normal for you.
Right. When you were talking about the light, I was doing that yesterday on my walk. I walk my dogs. We live by a golf course, and when you were
Nice.
doing that, I could feel it. So I had my baseball hat on. I took it off while you were doing and I felt it was so sunny, and I was just like picturing that. So, and I got tingles in my head, and I just had this like amazing like feeling, and I did the whole. Why I'm saying this to people is when you do that and it's so powerful, and when I felt that, and when you're describing it just now, I went back to that trail and I was feeling it again. I felt that whole feeling through my whole body.
Oh, cool. And I'm feeling it too because we're amplifying each other back and forth, which is the whole point. So when I first learned this, it was from Sri Bhagavan right over there over my shoulder. And that's Sri Am who's with them. They're avatars. They're like pretty great. They're great beings. I mean, they got like Christ level skills. All right. But they're
Right.
on the planet now. And they're not the only ones. There's many schools and many ways to get this. I'm just saying this is where I got it from. I'm not prescribing anything to anybody because when I was there learning at Oneness University, they made it very clear we're here to get you closer to your own divine, your own source. Right. So this is not prescribing anything to anybody. People
Right.
use old mind to say that, and good luck. You want to do that, enjoy it. That's not what I'm doing. Okay. So when they were given Deeksha, that's what they called it,
Oh
this
yes, I just did that
energy
too.
transmission. Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
looking so deep into your eyes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, keep going.
So
Diksha.
they were given Deeksha, and you used to do it through the head, right? You'd put your hands on their head and energy would transmit. And there was this great band out of Brazil that did this song. There's nothing like a Deeksha through the head, through the head. Anyway,
Oh,
so
funny.
you'd feel it. And then they have it move your hands off. And then they started having it just doing it from heart to heart. And then you saw it where you can again look on my website and you'll see it through your eyes. And it's not me again. I get out of the way. Source does it. Anyway, when you receive these kinds of transmissions, you can feel it. That's the tingling you're feeling. So my friend and we always joke, brain surgery. Yep, I can feel the brain surgery. Because sometimes when I do these meditations in my group, I'm do some shameless self-promotion now. Like we have a community where we do really deep meditations once a week. If you want to see what it's like to immerse yourself in a field with many people at beautiful levels of consciousness, calling down manifestation. So when people do this, they'll report, man, I don't know about you, but I got the biggest headache. And all the old people will laugh at the newbies, not the old age, but been around for a while, will laugh at the newbies. Yep, brain surgery. Go take an aspirin and relax and let it work. Because it's a neurobiological shift.
Right.
The other bit of shameless self-promotion is I've got an intensive weekend that my wife and I, Tracy, will be teaching on March 23rd and 24th. If you go to the website, becomingawesome.one, you'll see information. A little pop-up will show on that. More interestingly is Friday night, the 22nd, is free.
Right.
And we're going to do this really cool process where we're going to connect to yourself at the end of time. In other words, all of your experience and all your soul and all your wisdom at the end of time, and let that cuddle up and love you and imprint you. So that's going to be really cool. And I'm saying this too because I hope people will sign up. It's on the 22nd and Friday evening. When I did that interview with Alex, I had 1,000 people sign up, and then my Zoom screwed me up, and only 100 could get in the room, and I felt so bad.
That's
so I've since worked out all those problems. Come and join in and feel what it's like to be in a field and meet yourself outside of time and space with all the wisdom and love that you have embodied in this time of existence. And then to have an imprint, a blueprint put on you of having that connection and that wisdom available anytime.
Right. When you say the end of time, what do you mean by that? Like the end of our lifetime?
Okay. No, I mean time.
Time.
Okay. Okay. So you know there's no such thing as time, right?
Yes,
but because we're in the 3D density, it's broken up and it's linear and it's time. When you're in 5, 6, 8, 12D, there's no time, right? So that's why your soul over soul, you at the end of time, is a 3D way of saying the you who is aware of every incarnation you've had in your past lives from 3D point of view, and future lives from your 3D point of view. So every aspect of incarnation that your soul has chosen to experience. So how do you describe that? Well, one way is to say, well, time's over.
Right.
That's the end of time. Go watch the second season of Loki on the Disney Channel. They explain it very well, what happens when you're at the outside of time.
Oh, really? Oh, I haven't watched that.
Yeah, it's just kind of stupid, but it's like he who remains is the one who's made it to the end of time and now goes back and tries to fix time. But that's not neither here nor there. But the whole point is that you can get to the end of time, which simply means you move your consciousness out of 3D and suddenly you see every past life and every future life, and it's all one thing.
And you do that already?
I don't do it as consciously as I can, but I have connection to that. For instance, one of the things we've done in our online community is work on the skill to automatic knowing, know what we need to know when we need to know it. So what happens if we permission our unconscious and our higher self to come to us at any time with any knowledge or any wisdom that any of our past or future selves have. So we're in any situation, and instead of having the normal programming of fear, what do I do here? You have an inspiration of, oh, yeah, this is familiar. I can deal with this.
Yes. But I was talking to a friend today who's awakened, and she was explaining how she looks at her life like I love being an adult because, well, she has little kids, but she's talking about living now and knowing what we know, it's like, it's like it's so magical. And when you can go to those places and say, oh, I don't have the fear, there's nothing to fear. Like to not take, I always say, gosh, to not take, for people to understand, not to take life so seriously, and to just live in that place of, like, what's the next magical thing's going to happen today? And,
Right.
the love that exudes from that place
Yeah.
is just so magnificent and so profound. And I feel like when I live from that place, which I intentionally do, human wise, sure we dip, but when I am so focused living at that place, it's just every moment I'm looking in the sky and I see something. I look over here and I'm smiling at someone and I can tell I
Yeah.
elevated them.
Yeah.
Oh,
You
it's
got it. You're in that place. And one of the things that I love, and you kind of joked with me in an email about it, so I was just going to have to go back to it, is the most powerful prayer there is. Thank you, more please. So
yes,
you look at the sky and you see this uplift. Ooh, thank you, more please. And
yes.
no matter what it is that's coming across to you, it's giving you joy. Thank you,
Mm,
more please. And then you just permission more of that.
right,
Many of us are fear polarized. Okay. And so we're always waiting for that other shoe to drop, right?
right.
Many of us have played the financial lack game. And so we know, oh, with this money, I need more. It's going to disappear. How am I gonna, right? And so you keep programming that. What if you were in the place you just described and you applied that to those realities of, hey, I'm safe here, entirely safe here. People look at me and like, you really seriously don't lock your front door? No.
Right,
We have house sitters come by when we travel and they lock it, but we don't lock it. And they're like, why? We're safe,
right.
right? And you just know that. What if you were in the same thing with money and abundance? Like, wow, this just came to me. It's a sign of money always coming to me. And I know the next time money is going to be useful for me to spend, it will come to me
Yes,
regardless of what's in my bank account or any of that fear-based stuff. What if you apply what you just said, Ashley, to not just the joy and beauty of nature, of who you are, but to everything in your life, and especially those things we were taught to worry about?
exactly. Oh, and I just wish that I parent like that with my girls.
Beautiful,
And
beautiful.
and I think, when you were channeling Saint Germain in one of your videos, and you were talking about abundance, and you had some joke, abundance. I don't like, I never thought of abundance with abundance. I'm like, oh, I'll
I'm
never
sorry.
look at
I was thinking of
abundance again.
somebody's butt and then bunny rabbits, and then it just came
Yeah.
out of my mouth. Bunny
And
dance.
then a bunny ran across the trail when I was walking this morning, listening to that. And I was just like, every time that bunny goes across here, I'll think of Peter saying abundance. I never thought of
That's
that.
that's kind of funny. You've got like a little confirmation. I mean, synchronicity is everything. You love the
Oh,
numbers that come to you. Synchronicity is everything. And you had synchronicity. You heard abundance about a rabbit joke for being wealthy, and the bunny shows up. And this is kind of how it is when you're in flow. The flow is available to you. It's a sign that you're in ascension and you're ascending more and more. The only thing that's keeping the flow is the blockages, which is why I'm all about clear, clear, clear. I'm the clear, clear, clear guy, giving you tools, giving you sessions and resources, books explaining how to do it because it just hasn't been taught in an easy
right.
way. And again, that class that's coming up on the 22nd, 23rd, 24th, I tell people, how long do you want to drag this out?
Right.
Why not just spend a weekend and get a lot? See,
Right.
when I used to go to Oneness University in India, it'd be like a month at a time. And the energies were denser then. This was more than a decade ago. The energies were denser, so it was harder to receive. But these were some beautiful high-level monks, and they were really working on transmitting stuff. And back then, me and the friends there, we would joke. We'd say, "Yeah, you can accomplish in a month here what it would take a year outside
Hmm.
to accomplish." I mean,
Right.
why drag your suffering out?
Right.
Why not just dive in
Oh.
and be done?
Well,
And
like that's how I felt that night, was like, what I've been waiting for this, and all I needed to do was do that clearing, and now I get it. And it's just, I know it'll get stronger and stronger, but like, gosh, I'm 55 years old and it's I went down
It's
that whole
pretty
thing
simple.
the next morning, waking up going, oh my gosh, I've always I'm very intentional, like I said, like to live in that love, high vibe. My girls would just walk. If I ever am in a lower vibe, they would be like, Mom, what is wrong with you? Like, you're always in this high. It's
Nice,
very,
nice reminder. Thank you, daughters.
and, but gosh, it's just, yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's
And
amazing.
I just want to put this out because Spirit's nudging me. Okay, all you people listening out there, this is not the magic silver bullet. You're not going to show up and get one clearing and then pretend the magic wand has been waved and everything's better. What's
Right.
going to happen is if you choose to, you're going to do your own work and you're going to start yourself on a course that's directed towards that. And that may involve more than one time that you dive in and do a clearing. But the more you do it and the more you allow it, the more efficient it can be. I have seen people have instantaneous awakening. I have
Mhm.
seen it, and I've seen it with my wife and myself, where we used to transmit the Deeksha by our hands, and then they would pop, and it just before your eyes, their energy field would change, and they go, oh, and they go, what just happened? And I go, I think you just awakened, and I've seen it like that. Uh, you just got to be ready and do your work. So it can happen magic bullet, but if you have the mindset of that you don't have this within you, it's like you go see a doctor and because they're smart and wear a white coat and give you a pill, you're fine, and you take your pill and then you're fine. It's not like that at all. You've got to be your own doctor here, and then you got to do it, and it may be more than once because you
Right.
have to have the amount of clearing equal to the amount of density. And the clearing is related to the amount of suffering. And suffering is resistance. How much have you avoided it? That's going to be your challenges. That's what you got to get through your own resistance. And then you pop. First, it could be difficult, but you just said you played with my videos for a week or two or however long you did,
Right.
and you're having results. Now, you did all your own work. You got your own community and everything. So now this stuff had a landing pad, it had a place to stick when it came down, and you're getting results. So I think you're an example for everybody out there. It can be super easy, but don't come into it with the mindset of, oh, yeah,
Right.
fix me, heal me. No, no, you've
Right.
got it in you.
But when you talk about stop doubting your doubt, or what is that?
Yeah, start doubting your
Start
doubt.
doubting your doubt. I knew that didn't sound right. And but it's true. Like, cause I do automatic writing and it's becoming way more powerful because I've started doubting my doubt.
Cool. Right. I know,
Okay.
because your mind's going to do everything it can to keep you on the rut. The deeper thing about mind to know is that lower mind is negative and repetitive, right? And higher mind is creative, expansive, connected. And it's not yours. Mind is not yours.
Right.
So, example, everybody listening out there, ask yourself, have you ever had the thought, oh man, I really screwed up. I did that wrong. I should have done this other thing. And it just goes on, doesn't stop, and keeps telling you you're wrong, you messed up, you should do something else.
Right.
Now, how is it that every single person on the planet has the same thought? If we're unique individuals, there'd be at least one who didn't have that thought.
Right.
Because mind is not yours. You're in the mind field. You're passing through the thought sphere. Uh, I learned this when I was in a darshan with Bhagavan, and the saint came to visit him. And the saint comes in that afternoon, certain afternoon. Bhagavan says, "Hey, how was your trip?" And he said, I had a terrible afternoon. All afternoon, I had murderous thoughts. I just want to kill somebody." And Bhagavan says to him, "Where'd you eat lunch?" And he says, "Oh, under this tree at this crossroads. Oh, yeah, this teenage boy killed his girlfriend there a few
Oh,
years ago. And that energy's still there. And you just picked it up." Now,
wow.
this is a saint level person, a person with a consciousness to be a saint. And he did not
Oh,
even understand that this thought was not his. And he passed through it. And so he allowed it and permissioned it. So
wow.
the negative aspects of doubt are in this external lower field where we're in 3D. We're moving to 5D, so we're going to climb up to a higher density where we get to the higher aspects of universal mind, loving, creative, auspicious, that kind of stuff. To get there, mind's going to fight. No, don't go. I've been in control. Keep me down, right? And so it gives you the doubt. So
Right.
one of the tools to do is just understand, hey, doubt, you think you show up in my head, so I automatically think you're important. I automatically think something's wrong with what I'm doing. What if the doubt deserves to be doubted and it was automatically wrong?
Right.
And then it just frees you up a little bit to climb up higher and just let more of that 5D stuff come, where it's where we're all going. So, just let your mind go. Like I said earlier, you got to make the choice. I am my consciousness. I am not my mind. Now, I always tell people to make friends with their mind. It's not bad. It's not bad. It helps you. We write books. We got the internet. We got to the moon. Beautiful stuff. Okay. You got to let your mind know. Thank you. I hear you, because it will never shut up otherwise. And then choose to be something different. The example I like using is grandma's in the kitchen. Or the living room, and she's watching some horrible TV show, because that's what she does. And she's knitting away and she's doing what she does. And you love her, but you feel bad for her because she's got Alzheimer's, right? And because she's got Alzheimer's, she's not who she used to be. You walk into the living room, she goes, Peter, will you look at that sweater you're wearing? You're being interviewed. How can you wear that in public? And then she turns around and says, you still with Tracy? You can do so much better. Look at your hair. All right. And she just goes on and on. Now you love her because she raised you and she's been with you, but she's batshit crazy right there. So what do? Hey, Grams, I love you. Gotta go now.
Right.
That's the only
That.
thing you can do. You got to do the same thing with your mind. I hear you. Thank you. You've been with me so long. You've helped me so much. Gotta go now. I'm choosing to be my consciousness. It's a
Right.
big step up once you learn that habit.
Right. When you say we're moving, and I mean, I've interviewed many people that say that, but I want to hear your take on it. But when you say it's the where you say we're in the solar system and it's speeding up and we can't help but be going to that place.
Yeah.
And why? And we're going to take, if the longer everyone wakes up, it's going to take that much longer. But even though it's still speeding up.
Okay. So 3D, we're moving through more energy, which is going to allow the speeding up and the popping into 5D. But we're not just going to take a 3D journey. When we're in 5D, this is where other channels and other people talk about bifurcation and this furcation and that furcation. There's going to be 2 Earths or 10 Earths or 8 billion Earths, all right?
Right.
And what it is you're going to go to a density that is resonant with your consciousness. So you're going to be in a place that's going to reflect where you're at now. So it's going to appear, when it's all said and done, it's going to appear like it's a whole different planet. All right. And getting there is not going to be, we're moving through 3D and everything changes and we've got new policies, and it's not going to be like
Right.
that. It's going to go along and you're going to be in this other place. And in this other place, you will have flipped a timeline. And when you flip timelines, then everything that was isn't necessarily there anymore. All right. So a couple of things to understand. One is you are the master of your consciousness. Okay. Nothing, absolutely nothing comes into your consciousness without your permission, including what you call reality. All right.
Right.
So we have agreed to this physical 3D reality, and those are the rules of it. And so we have it and we enjoy it and stuff like that. What happens is you move your consciousness to a different place. You're in a new reality, i.e., new timeline. Okay. And then you're in it's not like Earth slowly got there and then all of a sudden took so long. No, you pop. You're just in that new place.
Okay.
Now, let me give you an example about not the whole planet, but individual people. And I think some people are going to relate to this. I'm getting a hit from spirit. Say, yeah, some of you out there, if you have comments on whatever it is that you're doing on your podcast and stuff, when you read those, you're going to hear some people say, yep. Okay.
Yep.
So you've got this problem with somebody where you're butting heads and it's ugly and nasty. Okay. Outside always reflects the inside, mirror 100%. Okay. So you clever enough to know, oh, it's not them that's the problem. It's me that is holding something that is unclear from my past that is attracting this. Let me go clear that. So you go do your work, you do your clearing. Then you go see that person again. Now, I've had this happen a bunch of times. It's trippy. You go see that person again. And because there's no negative energy, because you've cleared it, forgiveness automatically takes place when you move the pain. that was caused. If you experience fully the pain that was caused, forgiveness takes place. Doesn't matter if you caused the pain, if they caused it on you, doesn't matter. You experience it, it's gone. All right, so you meet this person again. There's nothing to forgive anymore because the energetic no longer exists because
Right.
the clearing has taken place. So then you're in this place where you remember you were butting heads. And so you mention to them, wow, it seems different that, but last time we were doing this. And then that person has no memory of what you're talking about.
Mm.
They're like, what? Now, I've had this happen with a bunch of people. Okay. And the reason why is I'm in a new timeline where they never did that because there was no energy left to hold me in that other timeline where we were butting heads and there was that negativity because I did the clearing. So this
Right.
started happening to me. And first I was like self-righteous. Oh, come on, you should apologize and all that shit, right? Okay. I was all self-righteous. But then it happened again and again. I was like, oh, what's going on? So I brought it up to my meditation group and they're like, yep, we're experiencing it too. And they started telling me their stories. And that's when I opened up to the understanding, the knowledge, you flip timelines. Okay. So now if
Okay.
I'm having these personal examples of going from timeline where we're butting heads to timelines where we're all kumbaya, right? Then it's like, imagine 8 billion people flipping timelines, or imagine even 100,000 of us flipping timelines all at once in the same direction.
Yeah.
That's when we get to this new earth. Okay. And
Right.
that's what they mean by bifurcation when the other channels talk about that kind of stuff. It's not some kind of separation, it's just your consciousness is now in the place where that happens. Because in all of creation, it all already exists.
Right.
That part blows my mind too.
Me too. But you can wrap your head around that. Like Peter can you have figured that out, how you can
Well,
like see it in your eye.
yeah. Well, the reason I do what I do and the reason I'm blessed to be the way I'm blessed is I have the ability to take complex ideas and make them simple.
Right.
All right. That's my purpose. So that's why the YouTubes I'm doing, the book, the channeling process or the healing clearing processes, they're all what's the most effective, what's the most simplest thing. So this is my explanation of timelines, bifurcation, how the whole planet pops as best I can make it simple. Good luck if you guys don't understand. I'm sorry, I'm doing the best I can. But other people tell me, yeah, that makes sense now.
Yeah, no, it helped me, but I just, yeah, because it's definitely been a long road for me to figure that, wrap my head around that. What
Dude, you
about
can't
like,
do it in 3D, Ashley. You can't
no,
do it in 3D. You
I
got to
get
go
it.
to this place where you're
Yes,
expanded and then you allow it to come to you. And then it's like,
right,
how come I didn't know that before? It's
right. I just interviewed somebody on scalar light, energy frequency.
cool.
And so that kind of explained a lot to me too. But so when we're in the 5D, it's like we're living in that energy, that scalar energy. And like how it doesn't take any time from that, like if it was a UFO and it would take like, them to get from one place to the other place, if when they're in that energy, it it's like there's no time.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I understand that. I don't even apply the energy to it. I just know it works with consciousness because I'm not all a scientist person where I can figure that out. I have
Right.
friends that are like super high level mathematicians and stuff, and they can go, oh, here's the math, Peter. Right. And so that's the person you interview to understand it that way. I'm the let's keep it simple guy. All
Right.
right.
Which helps me because
All right.
that's why
So
I'm probably so drawn to you because I need it simple.
well, thank you. Well, a lot of us do, and then we can have the fun of really diving deep into it. And that's when the experts like you interviewed are super important. But, I'm the guy for the masses, right? So the way it works is when you flip your timeline, when you move your consciousness from holding this set of reality and experience to this other set of reality and experience, you're instantly there.
Right.
Uh, I just did a channel which is going to come out in a couple of weeks from Mira of the Pleiades, explaining how they move their ships around.
Hmm.
And it's the exact same thing. You hold the coordinates, the frequency of the time and the space of
Mm-hmm.
where you want it to be. And then because you hold it with intent and nothing else is being held in your consciousness, that's where you are. Now,
Right.
she said the movie Dune got it correct as far as how their ships move. All
Hmm.
right. They call it folding space. She said they kind of made it all dramatic with the how the navigators are all gross and bloated on spice, and said that's just movie stuff. Okay, but the principle of you hold the coordinate from here to there, and then you're there. Okay, now your friend, if I can speak that way, I don't know, is explaining the science of how that works. All I know is that if you hold the consciousness, I was taught by another one of the beautiful teachers I had, Ramtha. When I went to the
Oh,
Ramtha
wow.
School of Enlightenment, I like saying Ramtha that way.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Love it.
so uh, he was simply saying consciousness plus energy determines the nature of reality. Okay.
Hmm.
And so if you can hold whatever you're holding in your consciousness and supply it with energy, which is, i.e., your intent, you look at it, you focus on it, boom, it instantly manifests unless you have blockages. Now,
Right.
a lot of these blockages are intentional. We came to 3D to experience density and to be separate from it. So these things take time and stuff because, you know, you get the pleasures of 3D, right? Uh, but once you start to understand that, you can then move through time and space. So people who do remote viewing, they can see things happening elsewhere.
Right.
They can see things happening at other times. So you're going to have this ability. You're already talking to spirit. Now you just sit there and use the same connection thing. In other words, you put yourself into that same energetic that you're in when you connect to spirit, which eventually becomes your habit as you start doing it more regularly. And then you just focus. You're in that connection place, and then you focus. Oh, I would like to see uh, Mount Etna explode, and then your consciousness is there.
Right.
All right. And now, whether or not you move your physical body, that's another higher level skill. I've not experienced bilocation or any of that stuff yet, but I know people who have.
Hmm.
So again, it's out there. All right.
Yep.
Then, if you hold it intensely enough, you bring your physicality there.
Right. I interviewed someone that did that, went to Jamaica, came back. He was on his couch and he had sand and his shorts were wet from being
Yeah.
in Jamaica.
Yeah,
I
that was
have
what
my,
led me down this path was the desire to bilocate and have come back with sand in my pocket. I made a mind movie of everything I wanted, and I looked at it like a year or two after I made it, and everything I asked for in that movie uh, manifested except the bilocation. So I'm not complaining. 51 out of 52 requests.
wow,
I'm like, oh
I
yeah,
love it.
baby.
Oh my, I just had a retreat in January. I manifested it in like five, it was amazing. But we did breath work and I was observing because I didn't partake. I wanted to take pictures and watch people and kind of help guide because there was about 30 people. And there was one woman, she's now my friend, that listened to the podcast and came and she started having these movements like, I mean, came out just like where I was watching her having, I don't want to say convulsions, but like, like how
She was
coming out
getting
of
into
body.
it.
Yeah, where it was, but then she started, now she's like telling me she's going to these different countries and healing people. Like she's doing that in her dreams, like what you're just
Wow.
saying.
Yeah, I've done dream work. I wasn't aware of it, but I would sometimes wake up with physical bruises and bleeding and stuff because
Huh.
they invited me several times to help clear out some of the tunnels where their
Oh,
kids were
wow.
being held when we were going through that period of the planet being cleansed. Now I'm really clear about no, nothing comes without you telling me first because I don't
Oh,
like losing my sleep, but I'm
huh.
happy to help other times. But
But
anyway,
you can do that. Okay.
yeah, this is all unfolding. All the different abilities are unfolding. I want to tell a retreat story because it's cool because you use the word retreat and it's
Yes.
more shameless self-promotion, but it's super cool. So I'm doing this session with this beautiful woman and she has a good experience. And then she emails me and said, oh, by the way, I've reserved a retreat center in France in July 3 through 7. Would you like to come, you and Tracy, come and host a retreat there? And now I had come to the realization that I can't write a book really well if I'm distracted. So
Hmm.
this book, when it came to me, my first one, my Ascension Handbook Level 1, uh, 2.5 weeks of actual writing, 6 weeks from conception to publication,
Wow.
because spirit just was just there. But I was at my wife's mom's beach house
Oh,
in North
right.
Carolina.
I
And so
remember
I was
that.
just doing that every morning. They were like doing everything. And I would come out at night and go to dinner with them. And you're not very social, but you look really happy. And I'm like, I'm writing a book. And they said,
Right.
okay, just go write. Okay. Anyway, so I wanted to write another book. So book 2 is going to be written in April and back at the beach house. No one's going to be there. Book 3, my friends in the Czech Republic said, why don't you come here and write your book? And I thought that will be great. I just need to bank some cash. I need to get some flow going to get there. And didn't think of nothing of it. Then I thought, wow, maybe I could like do some retreats in Europe. This was months ago stuff. I can do some retreats and that'll pay for the trip. Didn't do nothing, just forgot about it. And then this lady says, why don't you come to Europe and host a retreat?
Oh, wow. I love it.
And then she says, I got this chateau. She owns a chateau, like 19 bedrooms, like a castle.
Oh,
It's a castle. And it's like Three Musketeers cool. Like, whoa. And then she
oh,
goes,
cool.
and she says, I'm not really interested in making a lot of money on this. I've had enough spiritual experiences and I know the importance of giving, and spirits told me months ago to hold these dates and host a retreat. And I didn't know what it was going to be.
Hmm.
And so she had her gift come and said, I'm not interested in making a lot of money. So she wants to make enough money to cover expenses and keep the staff happy. Right.
Wow. I
And
love
so
that.
we're able to offer this for a 5-day retreat, meals included, and staying at this really wild, beautiful chateau for 1,111 euros.
What?
I know. Great. Okay. So we're doing that. And so now all of a sudden she's offering it. We're giving this gift to so many people because she's doing what she's been asked to do. I'm getting to Europe and being able to go visit my friends in the Czech Republic and write book 3. And
Wow.
lots of people get to benefit. So I don't have the landing page yet built. So it might be out by the time you hear this. But if you get on my website, it'll pop up and you'll see it. Hold the dates, July 3 through 7, going to be in Dorange. It's kind of on Western France. So if you happen to be in Europe or if you're European and listening to this, come and have a party and
Oh, fun.
enjoy an incredible retreat at a ridiculously reasonable price.
Oh, very ridiculously reasonable. That's amazing. But I love things like that.
Miracles all
Yes.
around. I
All
got
the
what I
time.
wanted. She got what she wanted,
Yes.
and we're giving it away to everybody else who gets what they're going to get.
Right.
It's how it works. The abundance economy, the flow. It's just,
Right.
and the whole miracle is I wanted to go to Europe. I thought a retreat. Here, why don't we do this, Peter?
Right.
Out of
Right.
the blue.
Yeah. Not out of the blue. It's all
Yes. Well, it might be out of the blue because the Ram used to teach us about the blue grid, which he described as the underlying grid under in the quantum field underneath physical creation. And he said if you can bring your consciousness to the blue grid, then you can put anything in it and then it'll manifest for you. And I've done that like with World Series tickets or winning the lottery to go down the Grand Canyon, which used to have a 20-year wait list, right? Okay, so
right.
I've done that by putting stuff in the blue grid. So maybe
Oh,
out of the blue.
yeah. I love it. I was listening to the woman that swims with the dolphins today that you interviewed
Oh yeah, she's a
about
beautiful soul.
manifesting. Oh, I loved it. I want her to come on my podcast. And I was just so intrigued, like with the way you're just explaining, like how manifesting and people, that word is very used, but when you are visualizing, it's like the timeline almost. So it's like you're moving into that timeline. Do you remember what she was saying? Like how she
Yeah,
visualized it and like she was
right.
already there?
Yeah, she's already there. It's already happened. We used to shoot blindfolded archery at the Ramtha
Oh,
School of
yeah.
Enlightenment, and not at 6 feet away like Zen archery, at 50 yards away. We
Right.
would shoot blindfolded archery. And I was a natch at it. I could just do it. I could do a set of 10 arrows, and at least 4 or so would hit the target, and I'd often get a bullseye or something. Okay. Which at 50 yards blindfolded is a thing. Okay.
Right.
And I knew once I could do that, I could do anything, right? The whole point is you don't see it happen. That's what we think about the normal way. You kind of see it in the, you see it already has happened. So
Right.
I may be here now pulling the trigger, but I've already heard the thunk of it hit and I've already know that it's there. That's the
Right.
whole thing. You command the universe. I think Dispenza explains this stuff in his work really, really well. His work has helped me out a lot, Joe Dispenza. Uh, no criticism because I love everything he does. He doesn't have the clearing component, which I think is super important to open you up and let that stuff really work. But the
Hmm.
techniques of his, powerful.
Right.
And it's the same that if you get Alana as a guest, you're going to be so happy. She's beautiful.
Yeah, I love that. Can we end with like you channeling a message, like either from your higher self or
So Archangel Michael would like to
archangel?
speak now. Is that going to be okay?
Oh, I was hoping, yes.
That's probably why you would like to speak. You were hoping. Oh, dearest, dearest, sweet souls. So you have noticed that the channel Peter is very, very giddy. And that is partially in connection with Ashley, who was telling you early on about what it's like to just notice the beauty around you and find that you're in that flow. And we are here to give you this message to reinforce this, that you are already in the flow. The mere fact that you are listening to this message, to this entire interview here, means that you are allowing. And that is the message we want to carry more than anything else in this close. Allow. It's very, very different in 5D than in your 3D. In your 3D, you use your intent and you focus and you try to achieve your goals and set your benchmarks and do your work. And it's beautiful. Many of you have succeeded that way. In 5D, that can turn around and bite you. Peter wants us to say in the butt. We don't want to say that, but Peter's
Mhm.
pushing us to say that. And it can turn around and bite you because in 5D, your unconscious will manifest just as quickly as your conscious. This is why you're in 4D and it's kind of 1 foot in 3 and 1 foot in 5. So you can learn and practice that what you're holding is what you manifest without having the real terrible unconscious stuff come and show up because it was more instantaneous. The way to get there, of course, is to allow. And allowing is a difficult concept, and there's no rules. You can't read a book to say, do this and do that. That's allowing, because you're doing those rules. You're not allowing, you're using your mental stuff. Allowing is a stepping back, a getting out of the way. It is easier to step back and get out of the way when you know that you are connected. So focus on your connection. Enjoy it. Right now, we are transmitting energy, which you will pick up through your internet, through your broadcast devices. If you can feel it now, that's how it works in 5D. Forget this broadcast wiring 3D thing. If you cannot feel it in this moment yet, breathe. Yes, breathe and say, I allow. That's it is. And step back as best you can. Let the mind go quiet for a second. Focus on your body for a second and just breathe and allow. And then you can permission as an aspect of allowing. Permission. I would like to receive this, Archangel Michael. Any angels out there, I would like to feel and have this. Permission it. Then, as was spoken of moments ago by the lovely host, you see it has happened. It's not an asking for. You see it has happened. Oh, yeah. I'm in 5D. I'm in connection with the archangels. I am connection with source. It feels so wonderful. So you permission it. You notice that you're already in the receiving mode. And then all of a sudden, instead of your mind saying, how do I get there? I don't feel anything. You're in that place of, oh, yes, this is the connection you speak of. In this little exercise, in this little moment, you are in a place to practice and experience. And of course, it was mentioned earlier, and we wish to tell you again now, thank you, more please. Do not focus on, oh, I can't get there. People curse themselves all the time. I'm not this way. I've never had it. I don't do it. Do not tell that story. Tell the story of becoming. Yes, I'm listening to this. I know it's possible. I'm excited for when it manifests in my life. Tell that story as a bridge until you tell the story of it's already happened, as we mentioned moments ago. Start to focus on that as the allowance. Use this moment, no matter where you are in your connection abilities, to get a little bit closer. And then say that prayer. Thank you. More, please. Even if it's just the tiniest little touch of connection, that is how you open the door in love. We are going to leave you there now. Peter is joking. And again, he wants us to say, otherwise, we would talk all day. We are going to leave you there now. And just know this connection is always with you. He's been playing with this. You can see his hand right now. He touched 2 fingers. He's been creating touchstones. Whenever he has an experience, he touches 2 fingers together and said, this is my touchstone. Whenever I touch these fingers, I feel this. I don't remember it. I feel it. It's my trigger. And then he practices it during the day. Little quick way for you to carry on the experience you're having now. You feel it, go into the gratitude, create a touchstone, and then just keep experiencing it. Blessed. You are blessed. And we are grateful to connect with you, to feel the blessing that you are.
Oh, thank you so much. Oh my gosh. Oh, wow.
I know, and this stuff just happens. I'm like, wow.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, angels. Yeah, Archangel Michael. And he's a funny one too, because I didn't really have any angel connections. And I went to this Children of the Light conference because these people kept calling me up saying, you got to come speak at it. This was a decade ago. And they had their own experiences where they needed certain things and they would get in front of their altar and pray. And then my name would show up and they didn't know who I was either. And I'm like, okay. So I had to trust all this. So I went there to this thing. And so we got introduced to this blessing system of the wholeness blessing. It was an energy transference. I think it was the guy's name was Joe Crane. And so we got initiated as wholeness blessing givers. So then I had this Archangel Michael energy flowing through me whenever I'd give it to people. And then just recently, he started popping into my sessions as I do these sessions with people, and he'd show up and he goes, Peter, you invited in all these other people. You don't invite me. And I'm like, okay. Come on. And so he invites him. So then he starts saying, now give him the blessing. And I'm like, oh, we were instructed that you can't give this over distance. You can't do it remotely. And he goes, Peter, are you going to listen to the guy who taught you, or are you going to listen to me?
Huh. Wow.
And that opened up everything. That video you saw where the Deekshas come in on my eyes, I was not initiated in that. And that was a big special thing to get there. I just received it a bunch of times. And then one day Spirit said, okay, now start giving it. And I'm like, what? So I tried it and people told me, oh, there's something there.
Yeah, there definitely is something there. Holy moly.
Yeah. So it's like we all have this, we are all open channels, and you saw what can happen when you clear. And
Right.
Archangel Michael, thank you.
Right. How do you know it's Archangel Michael?
It's so weird because there's no clarity.
Right.
Right. So Spirit is just these energy fields to me. I don't get words. I don't get visions. Occasionally I get a vision. Occasionally I get a smell. They're smellians. Okay. But mainly I get energy squirts. And so I just know the frequency signature. Okay. That one feels like Archangel Michael.
Huh.
And then it's like, so then I backward engineered it. That was always a skill of mine, backward engineer something. If this is what the end product is, how did they get there? What was the intent? So then I started noticing all these frequencies, and I noticed that if I could identify the frequency of Archangel Michael, then all I have to do is identify the frequency of anyone, and it could be as simple as knowing their name. All right. All right. Then I can talk to them. So, if I want to talk to, it's funny, it just popped into my head right now, John the Baptist. I think later I'm going to go have a chat with him because why not? All right. Because you just identify it, know their name, know their energy signature, talk to them.
Wow. What is your relationship with your wife? Do you have these kind of conversations all the time?
Oh, we love that we're both on this track and we support each other. And we both know that we do our own work because, your partner is always going to be your reflection. So whatever you need to clear is going to come right up. So my relationship with my wife is super good, including the time she says, and I'll say something all harsh and mean and just be my whatever. And she'll say, can you be more like that guy who channels the videos right now?
Oh, funny. But do you have deep conversations? Do you you're going to go talk to, you know, Archangel Michael and do you ever talk, does he ever talk through you to her?
So we talk about what happens with each other because we're like, oh, new skill today. Like, or, oh, I was just in this place and I got this information, which is really kind of cool.
Hmm.
Right. So we're always informing each other about the coolness that's out there. Uh, but we often don't go in with a lot of questions because when you're in the energy field, it's bliss, right? And it's hard to
Right.
hold 3D mind if I need to know questions and answers because you get there and it's like, oh, bliss, thank you. And then you leave and you're full of love. It's like, I didn't ask any questions, right? So it's not like we go in to try to get that. We just try to allow it.
Right.
And she doesn't, she's so funny. I love her. She's like, I knew when I did that Alex interview, I was going to get a lot of people.
Right.
And after this interview, there's going to be a lot of you who come to the website and put your name on the waiting list, and maybe I'll see you in the class. Or if you want direct interaction and teaching and be in the field and uplift, join the online community, becomingawesome.one.one. Anyway, so I said to her, look, we need more sessions because we're going to get all this people and there's a whole planet ready to pop. And she goes, okay, I'll do sessions, but I don't channel like you. And I'm like, I don't think you give yourself credit for what you do.
Hmm.
And now she's doing these sessions where she just instantly connects with their higher self and then gets all this information and goes right to a specific kind of clearing. And I'm like, I need to cancel some of my sessions and sit in on yours because I think I'm going to learn some new techniques. You're the lady who said you couldn't channel, but you're doing things that I'm like, whoa, and I want to see how that's done so I can let that energy in my field.
Oh, neat. Did you
Yeah.
teach her? Did you like how did that
We
happen?
both went to Oneness University together.
Okay.
We both traveled together. That was the thing. We realized early on in our relationship that we liked to travel, and we realized early on that my job was to bring her places to open her up because then she wouldn't go there on her own. But then once we were there, she's like, whoa. Now recently there's been role reversals. She's like starting to want to go places and tell me, I think there's going to be this event here and there's an energy we're going to want. I'm like,
Oh, wow.
okay.
Oh, I love that. What about plant medicine? Did you ever do that together?
Uh, I don't do much plant medicine.
Yeah.
Uh, she does.
Oh.
Uh, my friends I'm visiting in the Czech Republic are they do a lot of plant medicine. They've been trained in it. I call them shamans. They're like, no, we're not shamans. I'm like, yeah, you are. But anyway, I just released a video on YouTube where I was interviewing Peter Merrick. Beautiful, beautiful soul. What a great guy. And he said, I'm not a shaman. Can you take that off the
Oh,
thumbnail?
funny.
Anyway, so but she does plant medicine with them all the time, and they have these incredible experiences where they gain wisdom and stuff like that. I am just not drawn to it. It's kind of hard on my physical body, and occasionally spirit will tell me try this or try that so you can experience it. And then once I experience it, I'll have the energetic imprint of what takes place, and then I'll just go to source and say, give it to me.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, because
I'm
that's
not
what it
drawn to
is.
it either. I'm not drawn to it. Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know.
Once your God realized,
Hmm.
you can get whatever you want. You go out and observe it, and then you just say, hey, God, that's kind of cool. I'd like that. So
Right.
you get awakened first, for the most part. Some people get God realized first and don't forget the awakening part. That was a great story. This awakened guy meets a God realized guy and tells him how great awakening is and how your life changes and everything. Do you want me to teach you how to do it? And the God realized guy says, oh, no, I got a really good connection with Source. I'll just have Source give it to me now. Instant awaken. And then he says, we want me to teach you how to be God realized, which is the next part of this ascension. That's going to be my second book that I'm going to write. The subtitle is my Ascension Handbook Level 2, God Realization.
Oh, is that channel? Do you channel that? You don't, you just let it go flow through you?
So Spirit told me to write these books, right? And so then I sat down and wrote this super big outline and said, oh, that's terrible. No one's ever going to read that. Break it up into 3 parts. I'm like, okay. Then I get there and then I'll get an outline and the outline will come to me. Then I just write whatever I write and I'll feel nudged in this direction or that direction, but it's my voice. And because it's a 24/7 contact with source, or at least my higher self. And so I just get nudged this way, that way. And then people say, yeah, that's something.
Hmm. Wow.
So yeah, I don't get the words. It's not like the automatic writing thing where you don't get the words.
Right.
I get out of the way, I get the outline, and then I supply the experience to it.
Hmm. Oh, neat. I can't wait to read them. Oh, okay, Peter. It's like I don't even want it to end. I I could be with you all day long. I've been waiting for this. If you only knew, and I know I expressed that at the beginning, how much I was looking forward to this. And now I have to end it and just still continue, which is exciting to me, is continue the tools that you've taught me to keep opening that channel, keep opening and talking and work and in doing what you teach. And I'm so grateful for that.
You really honor me. I'm just humbled, and you're a beautiful soul. And I love what I do. And I wish I could take credit for it. My ego mind is, oh yeah, look, I taught her stuff. But I know it's me getting out of the way and letting source do it, right? But what you're saying is what I want for everybody on the planet. And what you're giving me is a testimony of, oh, I did some of this stuff and quick, transformative. And you're, of course, fertile soil. You've done all your work. And so you're ready to receive this stuff. But I want everybody listening to know Ashley's doing it and having incredible results. You can do it and have incredible results. Get off the window shopping train. Stop listening to podcasts just to hear cool people. Start picking the people you resonate with and say, oh, they have tools and resources. And many of mine are free. All right. And becomingawesome.one.one. And I really, really encourage you not only to check out what's there, take the weekend intensive. Friday evening is free, the 22nd of March, 23rd, 24th, all day. You can have big transformation, or maybe even see you in France, July 3 through 7.
Oh, I love it. Oh, thank you, Peter. Oh, it's
Thanks,
been so
sweetheart.
fun. Thank you. Mwah.
Many blessings.
Oh, thank you.